Represento las calles de mi tierra. Mi bandera, ay, mi bandera. Puerto Rico y todos los latinos. Sonamos donde.
What's up, everybody? Buenas tardes. This is BX Sports Jedi. Have in and locked in Latinos with Wrestling Voices here on the Sports Jedi Network. I'm my partner, PGA Chris. What's up, Chris?
I'm here, man. Second interview of the year. Sorry, guys, in advance. My voice is gone because of last night's game. But I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I'm really excited to talk to our guest today. So let's do it.
All right, listen. This is not just another interview. This is about history, culture, representation. Because today we're sitting down and we're speaking to a very special young lady who just didn't step into the ring. She's kicking down the doors. She's representing El Salvador, Centroamérica. And every young Latina woman should totally find out this space and what makes her, what builds her, what grinds her. And from the independent scene, you've seen her on AEW Dark, Ring of Honor, making history on Raw. I remember seeing her as a paramedic, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to bring her in. They call her the Leona because she roars and the world is going to hear it. And let's bring in our guest, the one and only Alejandra, La Leona. What's going on? Bienvenido.
Hola a todos, buenas tardes, ¿cómo están? ¿Cómo estamos? I love the music, I love it. It's my thing. Cumbias all day.
Let's go. Eso sí, pues. Bueno, yo siempre hago la pregunta primero, pero lo voy a dar a my partner, Chris. Chris, you go ahead. I always love to give you that honor.
No, I appreciate that. I always like to ask this, with a first-time guest, just the beginning, what got you into wrestling? What made you want to finally do it to the point where you at now? Talk a little bit about what made you want to do this.
Oh my God, I love that question. One, I was always a fan. But growing up in El Salvador, I didn't think that this was possible. Just because in El Salvador, the wrestling scene is not big. There's not a lot. So I was always a fan. I always wanted to do it. But when I was in El Salvador, I knew I couldn't. So my mind kind of shifted away from it. And it wasn't until I was in America that, like one of those wild dreams. Now I'm an adult. Now I think I can do this. I want to do this. I want to try. So that's kind of how it started. And then luckily I was able to find a friend who kind of put me in the right path onto a training facility. And once I stepped into those rings, once I crossed those ropes, that was it. I like it's the best feeling in the world, and it has been history ever since.
I got a follow up. When you saw that match, it's hard in Central America. I don't know how much lucha libre is there, which companies right now. Because I haven't been in. I'm from Honduran heritage from my father's side, and I haven't been in Honduras over 25 years. So I didn't even think about wrestling when I used to be a kid back then. Back then was Mazinger and all the cartoons back then in those days. But lucha libre, what was the particular match that you say, yo quiero hacer eso, I want to do that?
Oh my goodness. That's a hard one because like I said, when I was a kid, I used to a big attitude era girl. Okay. Big attitude era. So the John Cena, the Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, and most importantly, China. Those were the people that did it for me. So it's kind of hard to pick a match that said that did it, because when I was a kid, I was just in awe of all of it. And I was like, this is the coolest thing. I want to do this. But I can't think of a specific match that got me to want to do this. It was just more like the characters that I was seeing and identifying with that did that for me,
Okay.
No, yeah, I still want to talk more about early on, right? So I want to know, I like to ask this to a lot of our first-time guests. That first match, do you remember your first match? Do you remember how nervous, if you were at all, going into the match? Talk to me a little bit about your first match in an actual ring with, that experience of training. How much training did you have up to that point?
So, oh my goodness, I was training about 3 to 4 times a week. And I want to say about 6 months in, so very early, my coach was like, hey, do you have something ready? Because we're going to have a show and I want to put you in it. So I remember, like, I think I went on maybe like Amazon and got like, I didn't even have like actual wrestling gear. I just remember picking something that looked cool. But it was, oh my God, like from excitement to nervousness to, I thought I was gonna pass out. I thought I got like super dizzy. Like it was like what I dreamed for, but now it was there. So it was like a whole different feeling. And it was not a lot of people in the crowd, maybe like 30, 40 people there. I don't know, very small crowd. But my family was there. I remember that. And I make the entrance and I'm feeling it, right? I'm like ready to go. And then I'm in the ring. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm about to pass out. Like, what am I doing? Like, I got dizzy. I'm looking at the lights. I'm looking around. I'm like, oh my God, can I do this? Like, am I really doing this? Am I in, like, is this a thing? And I got through the, like, once I was done with the match, I was like, I did it. Oh my God, I just had my first match. During the match, I feel like I couldn't think of anything else. But post match, I was like, okay, I'm doing it. I want to do this again. I want to keep going. I want to keep doing it. And now I'm think over 500 matches in or something like that. I lost count.
Oh hell yeah, nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I did lost count on how many matches I had, but it's I think over 500 at this point.
Well, my follow up on your first match, which was the first school that you were, because I've seen you in Reality of Wrestling. You also train a little bit in the dungeon with Natty Neidhart. I've seen you in with Devon Dudley, that 3D Academy, if I'm not mistaken, and all the different places. So you are being seasoned by really strong minds in the industry, from Booker T and all. ¿Cuál fue tu primera escuela? And I know they all got a great place in your heart, but tell us about that, the origin.
So I started training at DFW Pro Wrestling Academy under Lamont Williams. He's known as Lou Gotti. He's from East Cleveland, Ohio, and that's the school that I started in. And a majority of my training was there. I always like to go back. So it's nice to always have a home to go back to. But yeah, DFW Pro in the DFW area, in the Dallas area, that's where I started. And my coach, Lamont Williams, those were my first kind of, my first training. But then I've been blessed, like you said, I've been blessed and very fortunate to have been able to train with so many different legends and so many amazing wrestlers from like all over the place and stuff like that. I've trained in Costa Rica. I've trained just recently, at the dungeon with Natty and TJ. I did training in CMLL last year too. So I feel like I can go on, like, when I think about it. Like, I've done quite a lot. Yeah. Always training.
No, a lot of training. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about, your style and your kind of identity as a wrestler. If someone hasn't seen you wrestle before, what would you say? Are you more of a striker, high flyer? What's kind of your grappler? Because again, you're working in the dungeon with arguably one of the best technical wrestlers, female-wise, in Natty. So what's kind of your strong suit? What would kind of be your identity if no one's seen you wrestle before?
To be honest, it's hard to put it into one category because I'm very hybrid. Because I do the American style wrestling, the technical wrestling, but I'm also lucha. So it almost depends on what I'm feeling, what I'm vibing, what I'm going. So like sometimes I tell people, it's like you can see me have a match, one weekend, and it's maybe like you'll see a striker or a brawler, and the next week I'm high flying out of the top rope and it's lucha. So I'm very hybrid. It's hard to put a style into me because I do a lot, and I like the fact that I can do multiple things. But yeah, I'm a very adaptable and very unique in that sense, like hybrid. So it's almost like you just never know. It's always a surprise. Even myself, sometimes I'm like, oh, it's very different from one match to the other sometimes.
All right. I want to follow up on that one with the adaptability. How difficult was it to adapt, like going from different parts, from different, like you said, you well traveled in CMLL, viendo que tú tuviste una lucha en Guatemala. I want to ask that question. When you were in Guatemala, how great was that? You know, Mexico is Mexico. Mexico el mero mero. Pero to
Sí,
wrestle
claro.
one of those countries in Central America, like Guatemala, like how was that feel?
Oh my goodness. Espectacular. Bueno, como salvadoreña, no, pues, o sea, estar en tus países, en tu tierra, y eso es la gente, la vibra, ¿no? In Guatemala, I wrestled in, honestly, a very historic arena called Arena Guatemala, Mexico, and they've been around 36 years. So way longer than I've been alive, way longer than I've even wrestled. So there's not a lot of wrestling in Central America, unfortunately. It's very limited. Guatemala, I believe, has maybe like five. I think it's the one that has the most promotions, but I think it's still like, I think maybe I don't even think there's 10. I think there's only like anywhere from like 5 to 7 promotions. El Salvador only has one, and they don't run very often. So when I go back to El Salvador, they actually make a show for me.
Nice.
So I could wrestle. And then I also wrestle in Costa Rica. Costa Rica has a really good wrestling scene. Not a lot. I think it's still within no more than 20. I think it's very, very small. And then unfortunately, Honduras and Nicaragua do not have a wrestling scene. There's no, because I tried, because I wanted to hit all the Central American countries when I was there just recently, but unfortunately do not have a scene in Nicaragua and Honduras. So
that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, but hey, maybe you could bring that scene over there. You never know.
That's always been the goal. It's definitely a goal, and I know somebody that also trains at WWE Pro. He's from Honduras, and that I know that it's one of his goals is to eventually, take what we're doing here and give back to our homes and our countries.
Real quick before I ask mine, is there a big demand for pro wrestling out there? Because you said there's not much, but is there the fans want that? Is it really something that's demanded?
Yes, there is. I want to say yes, because there is a huge wrestling fan base. I've seen it, and whenever I go to El Salvador and I wrestle there, and just seeing how many people were there the last time I was there, it was insane. It was, and they constantly asking like, hey, when can we have more? When is the next show? And I know whenever the big companies go, I think WWE is the one that's gone there.
Okay.
They pack the house too. So yes, there is a demand for it. There's just there's not a lot of resources for it.
Okay.
That the passion, the love, and the need and the demand for pro wrestling, lucha libre is there.
It's just the resource.
There's no resources for it. And that's where the heartbreak comes in.
Okay.
Chris, before you ask your question, I want to just ask.
No, go ahead.
As we stay on topic, when you first wrestled in Salvador, I didn't know you wrestled in Salvador. I thought Guatemala was the closest, but now that you revealed that you were in Salvador, your very first time, ¿cuál fue esa experiencia en tu mente? Pinch me, esto es real. What was going through your head when you're about to beside the sacred canvas of the ring in El Salvador?
Oh my God, I could cry thinking about it. Just it's home.
Wow.
It's your people. It's home. And my family was there, and I've been to so many different arenas, different places, different countries, different stuff, and every place in arena has a different feeling, right? But El Salvador es mi casa, es mi tierra, es mi gente.
Se entiende.
There's no other feeling like it. And to see that people, went to see you wrestle, just it's home. There's no other feeling like it. It's home. It's you're home. That's what it feels like. Very much like home.
I mean, you've gone everywhere outside. Again, you're going around all over the U.S. Well, give me somewhere that you haven't been yet that maybe in 2026 you would like to maybe go, maybe Japan, the UK. What's maybe somewhere that you would like to go this year or in the future that you haven't?
And yeah, like, so right now I definitely want to go to South America. Just to get all the America, and then
Right,
obviously,
yeah.
yeah, and then Europe and Japan. In fact, last year I had set up a tour to go to Europe, but because of visa issues, because I'm from El Salvador, it didn't come in time to when I needed to travel. So that was postponed. A lot of people don't know that. But yeah, so this past November, I was supposed to be in Europe. And because of visa and travel stuff, I couldn't go, but the opportunities and the doors are still there. Now it's about timing and finding the right execution for it. So that's coming up. I know that for a fact that's coming up. And
Nice.
and same with Japan. Those are the two that I know, I believe it, I feel it. I'm gonna make it happen one way or another. And that's what I do. I can't stay still.
You
I'm gonna
talk
gotta
it to
go.
an existence.
I've always find a way, and I believe that I'm gonna be in those places this year. Yes, I'm working towards a lot of stuff, and obviously with the grace of God, I know He'll take me where I need to go, and wherever I go is gonna be amazing, and it's gonna be the right place. But those are things that I'm working towards, especially because I couldn't go last year. So now
Yeah.
there's that, So now I'm ready.
All right. Seeing the way, viendo like the way you just express how you want to break down those doors and accomplish these goal oriented. I gotta ask, where did the name La Leona? Where did you identify yourself as a lioness? Because it seems like is it because you go out there where you want something like a lioness, you hunt it into existence? Explícalo, ¿dónde vino ese nombre?
Oh my goodness. So growing up in the streets of El Salvador, El Salvador is doing good now, but whenever I lived there, when I grew up there, it was not. I lived in El Salvador when it was considered the world's most dangerous country, where gang violence was intense, not in the best of neighborhoods, in a lot of poverty and a lot of all that, right? So children in El Salvador around those times had no choice but to grow up fast. They had to learn how to fend for themselves, with a fight mentality, like almost like you just have to constantly, like fighting for survival kind of thing. And then, but the actual name, I want to say it's because of my hair. So then, like, I always had this big curly hair, and when I was a kid, and it was, had like the little fro, and I used to be super tomboyish. People would be like, "Oh, you're like a little lion," and I'm like, "Yes, I am." And then once I got older and I realized the way that I live my life, like constantly like grinding, fighting, hustling, moving, and all that, then I was like, I am a lion. I'm very much a lion by definition.
La Leona Colocha, la Colocha. No,
La colocha, sí. Mis colochitos, sí.
I want to know. I want to keep talking a little bit about El Salvador because you are clearly so proud of where you come from, and I just want to throw this out there. I want to know how much does that actually mean to you? Because I just, while you guys were talking, I just wanted to see something. When you go on Google and you look up wrestlers from El Salvador, you were like the first person to pop up. So what does that make you feel, to represent your place? I mean, because again, all interview we've been talking about it, and you're just so passionate about it. Like, talk to me. How does that feel?
I cannot. You guys are gonna make me cry. Because it's one, like I said, in El Salvador, there's no wrestling scene, right? And honestly, when I was a kid growing up in El Salvador, we, a lot of kids dreamed of bigger things, but unfortunately, a lot of us quickly realized that based on where we were living, or that things were not obtainable. I always said I'm here by the grace of God, and I believe that because there's not a lot of kids, there's not a lot of people that have made it out, or that they have been fortunate enough to live their dreams. So yeah, it's like you said, I'm very passionate about it because like as a kid, I had a dream, but quickly realized that if in El Salvador, it was not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And that's a mentality that I grew up into until you're older and you're wiser, and then you realize, wait, I can do this. So now when I'm doing this, I'm just at that point, it's almost like I am a pro wrestler. I want to do it. It's something I wanted to do, and then eventually it kind of hits and clicks. Oh wait, there's no other one like me. There hasn't been another one like me. So then the promoter from El Salvador reaches out to me, and he said, you're doing something spectacular. We didn't know there was a wrestler in that Salvadorian that's doing this. So that's kind of, it's almost like I wasn't even aware of what I was doing, until somebody brought it up and said, no, I thought there was other ones. I thought there was more. I didn't put the two together into the promoter in El Salvador said, there's not another one who's done what you're doing. There's not, we haven't seen this. This is not like, and all that. But, sometimes now when I realize in the position that I'm in, that's when it all kind of hits. Right. And I'm like, it's insane because now I go back, when I realize this, I go back and I'm like, that little girl almost lost dreams and hope. And now I'm doing this like this, I was fortunate enough to move to America to where I can achieve the dreams and I can do this and and think about all my friends and when I was back in El Salvador and all those kids and all those children that couldn't do this. So that's where a lot of this passion comes in. Like, this is not my fight alone. This is not my grind. This is for all the ones that had the same dream like I did, but they were not fortunate enough to do it. And then I'm like, no, there is a way. I know there's a way. There's always a way. So I take that very, it's
very
so dear
seriously.
to my heart, very
Yes.
serious, because it's like I said, it's just not mine. This is not just mine.
I
This
love that.
is for all those kids, for my friends
Yes.
who, when they used to play wrestling as kids, now we're like, wait, no, it is very much possible. It's very hard, and in a lot of ways, I've heard someone recently message me and said that I was living out their dream. Like,
Very
it
nice.
wasn't, this is not
Wow.
just mine. That's why I said this is not just mine, because these people are also identifying with me, and they realize, unfortunately, they can't pursue this dream or this passion that at one point they had. So now when they see me doing it, it's almost like they're living it with me. It's almost like I can go on. It's hard to describe. It's very hard to
No.
describe.
Oh, I hear
because
you. I hear you
it's-
because that's why as a fan, right? That's why we resonate a lot with Mike Santana, for example. Puerto Rican guy, not much doing it like him. First TNA champion. We've had him on the show twice. I mean, it's I love that about a wrestler who's so passionate about where they come from, because it gets fans like me that to even root more behind you. So
yeah,
I love
he's
that.
doing amazing. Yes.
Oh, we had him on
That's-
last week. I love that guy. He's awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
he's phenomenal. He's doing amazing things, and he's very proud
Yes.
Puerto Rican, and there is similarities there. Very proud Salvadorian. Like I said, I've almost in every company that I've been to, I've made that history.
Yes, you have.
Uh, and it's more than I ever dreamed for. I just when you grow up poor and away from things like I don't know. It's amazing. It's a
I
good
hear
That,
you.
feeling.
Déjame preguntarte esto, with when in an aspect of being the first and seeing people living your dreams. Es una pregunta, ¿es un privilegio o una responsabilidad? How do you see it? Is it a privilege or is that a burden or is that how do you take that? That people see that and what you represent, like, my goodness, porque todos podemos identificar contigo sobre eso, siendo la primera, no solo salvadoreña, heritage, pero primera latina de Salvador, porque recuérdate, en nuestro país, en los países centro y sudamericanos, hay un poquito de machismo, pero usted está rompiendo eso grandemente siendo una dama. How does that feel?
Oh my goodness, it is a privilege. I'll always say that it is a privilege because at the end of the day, nothing is no one owes me anything. I don't know. Everything I've worked hard to be where I'm at. Even where I started training, even the opportunities that I got. And so it is a privilege, in my opinion. I feel like life is a privilege. Uh, Getting to do and live out your dreams, it is a privilege, in my opinion. I've said this before. The responsibility of being the first or being something that's bigger than myself, right? Uh, I'm a firm believer in God. I don't believe that I didn't pick this for myself. He had it written for me.
Amen.
He put this on my shoulders for me to carry, and I believe he made me strong enough to be able to do that, and gave me the tools to be able to do what I'm doing. So it's not a burden. It's never a burden. Uh, like I said, this was something that was written for me. I just need to execute his plans. Uh, and so that's the way that I see it. I'm very privileged and I'm very honored and I'm very humbled by everything. And like I said, this was written for me. This was the way that was put on my shoulders, and I'm proud to do it at the best of my abilities. And if I can help other people, but just being an inspiration or put a smile on their face or make them feel something, then it's a win. And I know I'm doing right in God's eyes.
I love it.
Absolutely. I think we learned a lot about your come up. Me personally, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on now, what's going on recently. So kind of a two-parter here and I'll tell you why it's kind of a two-parter. So I want to talk a little bit about the dungeon. Natty shout out to Natty. She follows me on Twitter. We've had multiple interactions. Sweetheart. Talk to me about that, going to the dungeon and getting to learn from Natty and TJ, because it's not, if you want to get better at your craft, that's where you go. I mean, you see Ilya Dragunov, Dawkins, Maxine, who's killing it right now. That's where you go to better your craft. And the reason why I want to ask this two-parter is because we know John Cena was there. And I asked this, how was that experience? Because yesterday we had an interview with Janai Kai. She just appeared on Ring of Honor, had a match with Red Velvet, and she was at the seminar in Florida that they had, and Cena was there, and she said, he was gave all the attention. I stayed there longer than he maybe should have or whatever. How was that overall experience for you at the dungeon with John Cena?
Oh my goodness! Just saying it alone, it's
yeah.
Wow.
Listen, real quick. He follows me on Twitter, and I freaked out. So you in the same presence, I completely understand.
Yeah, so it's like like we were saying, very privileged, very honored. This is not everyone got or has gotten the opportunity to learn, especially um, because I'm a very go-getter kind of person. I can't stay still. Everybody who knows me knows I'm always moving, I'm always dancing. I don't know how to stay still. I'm always gonna do something, right? But I've been fortunate enough to be able to train with them. And like I was telling you, there was plans that I had to go to Europe in November. That didn't happen. So then now I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna get in my car, and I'm gonna go where the wind takes me. Uh, and I'm very much like that. It's all right. So I knew once my plans to go to Europe fell short, I was like, all right, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep moving. I gotta do this. So I had been training back and forth at that time already with, going to Orlando back and forth. Um, but then I'm like, okay, I think I want to go for longer, for a longer time. And I messaged them, and as I messaged Natty, and I let her know that I wanted to come in and be there for not just like what I was doing, which is like that one time that I was gonna go for that month that I was supposed to be in Europe. I was like, I got this free time, I want to go. And yeah, I got in my car, drove, I think it's 16 to 18 hours to Orlando, and go to training the first day. And I walked in, and there he is, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I was like, oh, okay. Like it's almost um like I'm trying not to like freak out internally because I want to pay attention to what he's doing. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I had met him backstage before. I don't think at a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, I can't remember, but just a quick hello glance, kind of, hi. Um, but getting to hear him talk wrestling, and him take the time to do that and to greet you and to talk, that's just mind blowing. Like,
Yeah.
how do you put that into words? I don't like. I'm still trying to find the words myself. I remember going like, when I went to bed that night, and I'm like, did this just really happen? Is this real life? Like, am I here? Because everything I do, I always go back to that little girl in El Salvador. Every time, everything that I do, almost everything, goes back to that. This was a little girl that used to see him on TV. Now I'm here, and I'm not just learning from him, but like learning from Natty and TJ, who I also, watch on TV, and I've idolized them very much. So now I get to learn from them. It's I'm honored and very humbled by all of that. Like I said, I always go back to being that little girl, you know, in El Salvador to now. And life is amazing. Life is great.
Nice.
All right. Speaking of cuando conociste a John or even Natty or any word of any advice from them that would you like to share, or are you going to keep that right here to you? You don't have to. You don't have to. Anything there or
It I like to keep a lot of things to
that's
myself.
fine.
I'll be
That's fine
honest,
too. That's
just
good.
because you know, in wrestling, what everybody wants to know a lot. I like to keep things to myself. But one of the things that I want to say that I learned from Natty and TJ, especially Natty, that was like how to always keep grinding and hustling and to stay hungry and motivated. And she's had an amazing career, and she's a Guinness World Record and stuff like that, and she's as hungry as she's ever been. She used those words, and I'm like, oh, it's you're right. So like I resonated with that a lot. Not that I've never grinded, but it's just to always keep grinding. And from John Cena, I think something that he said was, don't be afraid to try, to keep trying, to try things, to always, you know you just sometimes you just never know, just keep trying and keep doing things differently. So I want to say, I mean, I've learned a lot of things, but those
That's
are the
cool.
ones that that like, I think like he said, just try, just keep trying. And I'm like, and I'm very much like that. I do too much sometimes.
No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
So I'm very much into tag team wrestling. I got the championship right here. Love tag team wrestling. And before I realized, again, Denise Day is a friend of ours. She's been on our show. So before I realized you guys were tag team champions, I didn't realize you've really competed in that many tag team matches. I mean, have you? Do you kind of like the tag team wrestling? How has that been for you, kind of, working alongside a partner, relying on your partner? There's 4 people in the ring. How's that transition been? Or did you talk to me a little bit about your relationship with tag team wrestling?
Me and tag team wrestling have a very unique, very unique relationship. It's one of those where I really want it. It just doesn't work out for some reason. uh, and I love tag team wrestling. I love it. I've always been a singles competitor. I've always been a singles competitor, but I always wanted to be a tag. Like I feel like I maybe I wanted too much. Maybe that's maybe the thing. I don't know, but because I've been fortunate enough to tag with so many people and create history with people like me and Denise Dane. Wherever we, uh, I feel like we just got kind of put together as a tag,
Okay.
and it worked out well. I earlier this year with I was in a tag with Maya World for a little while. Um,
Yes.
and yeah, like so I'm always like, we're gonna, it's almost like you're gonna have a tag match, and I'm like, who's my tag partner? And then I'm always like, oh my, and, maybe I don't know, I'm like that. We're like, I want to do it. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep going. And then they're like, oh yeah, no. And then things just kind of go
Mm.
separate ways. So it's an interesting relationship with me and tag team
Is it
wrestling.
something
But
that you would be open to? Like, okay, like if you, how do I say, like maybe, you're that strong singles competitor, but maybe like once in a blue moon, there's a cool tag team match we can build up if the story's there, blah, blah, blah. Is it sort of like on an occasion type of thing for you?
I want it. I really do want it. I want to be a tag team wrestler. I've said that multiple times. In fact, like I really want to, uh, because like I've done a lot as a singles competitor, and I'm always like, what's the new challenge? What's new? What can we do different? What can be different? Right. So I'm
Gotcha.
always, so I want it. I really, really do. It just hasn't worked out yet. Maybe it's just not the, maybe it's just timing or situations or things,
I
right?
see.
But I do want it. I love tag team wrestling. I think it's amazing. I just, it hasn't happened for me, but I wanted it and I tried really
You'll get
hard.
there. You'll get there.
I really
But
hope so because I've tried.
now we can see tag team wrestling is something that you want. It's a little bit of a back burner, but get what skill set or what is it that's holding you, or you think you need a little more improvement? Because right now, let me be honest with you, the way you express and the command of the English language, because that's a lot of stereotype they get. Well, she already has an accent, doesn't command the English language well. Nonsense. What is? I think you could cut a phenomenal promo. What is it that is holding you back right now that you think that's preventing you to take that next leap in this industry?
To be honest, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not sure. I'll
Okay.
be honest. I'm not sure because I try not to dwell on things. Uh, because the moment that I start saying, "Oh, if it's this, maybe it's that, maybe it's this, maybe it's that," it can potentially put me in a bad headspace.
Okay.
So I try to focus on just keep going, keep doing this, and believe that there's greater things. Because every year in my career has been almost better than the last, or you know, um, like like last year alone, the debuting in CMLL, timing is everything. So I don't think there's some, I don't know. I personally don't know, because I don't think like that.
Okay.
On purpose, just to
No,
keep,
that's fine.
because I
Fair.
never want to get burned out by wrestling, or I've seen a lot of wrestlers sometimes just, you know,
For out of love.
yeah, and it's because it's like, oh, what's wrong with me? What's wrong, or what? So I never would like to put myself in that space. And I appreciate everything that's been given to me. And then I believe that because I'm not signed, I've been able to make the history that I've been making in so many different companies that I've stepped in.
Very fair.
Like last year alone, when I went to CMLL, I got a call a week before I showed up to Mexico City. And then when I was in the office and I asked them, I was like, hey, has there been another Salvadorian? And they're like, we don't think so. She's like, we don't know. And then everybody started doing research, and the fans started mentioning. And then once I talked to them, they're like, you're about to be the first Salvadorian to debut in CMLL. And I was like, what? And CMLL is the oldest pro wrestling company in the world. 92 years. 92 years. And there I was. There I was. So, like I said, I believe God has a plan for me, and I'm allowed Him to take me where He thinks is best.
I love that. One thing I want to ask you right now, because we just started 2026. I don't want to take up too much of your time here. Kind of a little two-parter here. How did you did a lot of things in 2025. How do you think your year went? And what are your goals going into this year to maybe improve the year that you had this year?
Oh my goodness. When I look back at 2025, it's it's hard to top kind of what I did, right? But I believe pro wrestling worldwide it's insane, right? So if I think about where I want to improve, I want to keep making histories. There's right now there's a company that I'm yet to work for here in America, one of the big ones, that has not seen the lion yet. That I really want.
You might have an idea.
Who could it be? Who could it be?
Oh.
and I really, and I really, hoping and praying for it. It just feels right. But I also, like I said, going to Europe, becoming, to continue making history. I think that's always been my focus and my goal, to keep representing El Salvador, to make it known worldwide, to keep inspiring people. So if I were to go to Japan, then I'll be the first Salvadorian to go to Japan. If I go to Europe, it will be the same, especially in so many of these countries and different places. So if the contract doesn't come, then I believe that I will still have other opportunities to keep growing as an individual, as a performer, to keep representing El Salvador, to keep inspiring people, because I think that's just kind of one of my biggest things, to just kind of show that I may be from like the smallest country in Central America, but when you dream big, everything and anything is possible. So yeah, like 2026, I want it all. I want to do it all. I always say that I want to do it all. Very focused. I've always been focused, always been motivated, and ready to see where life takes me.
All right. Speaking of that, the big companies out there, we saw you as a paramedic on, I believe, was it on SmackDown or Raw? I know I remember seeing.
Actually, both of
yeah,
them.
because we do watch alongs. We watch along the views and we react. And I said, that's not Leona. I remember saying it. If you clip it, I don't remember which episode was it.
I remember that.
Was it where? Is that in California? You were in California? No. Or that's.
No, it was, I don't remember. I think it was OKC.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
we were trying to figure this out before you came because we were like,
yes.
we remember, like we. Okay.
And I shouted you out.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first time I'm trying to remember if it was Raw or SmackDown. I can't remember. No, it was Raw.
It was Raw.
Was it? Or
when LA Knight and Big Bronson Reed, when they took him to the back.
That was. What? No, because I remember I did Raw, and I want to say it was OKC, and that was with Sami Zayn.
Okay.
And then the other one, was SmackDown. I remember now. Okay, I remember it was SmackDown because it was in SmackDown in San Antonio because the next day I needed to drive back to Dallas to go to Puerto Rico.
Yes, and I was at one in OKC. Yes. That we were talking about that. I think it was in San Antonio because I believe NXT was having deadline and WWE SmackDown wasn't in all in the same area. We were just debating about that. Esa fue la primera vez you were on WTV, right? As an extra or no?
Actually, not really. I can't remember. No, I want to say I did the No Way Jose Congo line a couple times.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, okay. You know what? I'm going back and rewatching some of them just to see if I.
Yes. Oh my God.
I did those. I think I did it a couple times. But last year when I did, when I was medic for Sami Zayn, that's the one that went viral the most. For two different reasons in two different parts of the world, I feel like. And then whenever I did SmackDown as well, for the car accident, yeah.
Now, did you tell anyone back home that you were going to be a paramedic on Raw or SmackDown, or did someone call you say, "Mira, hija, te vi voz en la televisión"?
Yeah. So, because like I said, I've done little things like I've worked with them before, and like I said, I did the No Way Jose Congo line and all like little things like that. But no, I didn't tell anybody. I remember we recorded the skit, and then I was all right, cool, cut, cool, set, boom, we're off the air, great, So then I go to my phone to grab my phone. I was like, oh, maybe I don't want to say maybe like a minute or two after we were done recording it, and my phone was just blowing up.
Wow.
It was like, oh my goodness, I'm like, what is happening? Like it's because I had moments like that before, but this one was different. But it was just like nonstop. I was like, oh my goodness, it just, because everyone thought I looked like like Samantha Irving. So and then once they started doing research on me, then they find out, oh no way, she's an actual wrestler, she's this. And then I remember here it was like, you almost like, no, she's not a look-alike, she's not Samantha Irving, this is her. And then in Latin America and other countries, it wasn't, oh, she looks like somebody. It became like, oh, this is the first Salvadorian to appear on Raw, to make appearance. So I had, like I said, in the United States, it went viral for one thing, and then Latin America for another thing. So I was like, oh, like it was mind blowing. So I'm always blessed and I'm always grateful for everything.
That's great. And that's not the only time you're on television. We talk about your match with Red Velvet in AEW Dark as well. You had that match. I'm pretty sure your phone must have blown up as well, because you could have gone dark on YouTube and watched your match.
Yeah, like so there's been a lot of different moments like that.
Mm-hmm.
As the more I grow, the more the fan reaction there is, the more,
Yes.
um but yeah, me and Red Velvet had that match, and I feel like it never really sinks in until like afterwards, where because at first I'm so excited, I'm so ready to
Mm-hmm.
go, like, oh my god, I'm like, I'm here, I'm doing it, and then I'm done, and I'm like, oh my god, I did that. But oh no,
Oh, that's okay. We got you.
sorry. I told you my stand was giving me trouble. There we go. I'm back. Um, but that was a history making moment as well, because we opened up the show that day. Uh, we were the first match that people saw. It was
Nice.
in, quote unquote, in the DFW area, which is my second home, my home right now, right? And it was the first time a Salvadorian was debuting for AEW.
I know.
So like I said, it doesn't hit in until like afterwards. I think there's only been one time where it like hit me, where I'm like, oh my god, I'm about to make history. But because at first I feel like I'm just the excitement and the happiness doesn't, I don't know, like I'm really happy, I'm ready to go, I'm like, I remember it, I was like ready to go. But I love that match, because I think there was a moment in the match where I have Red Velvet in a hold, and I'm doing the back rates to the back. I remember that. And then I'm just over here, and I tend not to look up. I always kind of look straight ahead. But this time I'm doing it, and I look up, and I can see myself
On this
in
point.
the big screens. So I was like, oh my god, that's me. Like I'm here. Oh my god, that is me. And I'm like, oh, and because sometimes I always tell people that I wish I could see myself through other people's eyes, because I know what I see, but I don't know how people see me. So I think at that moment was one of those moments where I'm like, oh, I'm seeing myself how people are seeing me. So I love that match for not just the history, but because it allowed me to necessarily be almost like become a fan of myself too. Like I'm like, oh, that's cool. I am cool. Oh my goodness. Sorry. I don't know what's
No,
happening.
you're good. You're
No,
good.
you're
Yeah, it's
No
my
te vamos a
phone.
coger más tiempo. No, no worry about it. We're wrapping it up. We're
No,
wrapping
you're
it
no,
up.
fine.
yeah,
You're
we're
fine. I
we're
can talk forever. That's the thing about me. I didn't realize how much time it's been.
No, you're good, but we don't want to take any more of your time. I do like to ask this question kind of towards while we're ending it anyway, so I'll ask it right now. We have a lot of friends that are inspiring wrestlers. I mean, friends of both of ours, individual friends, and they watch this. They look forward to our interviews with you guys. You've done a lot. You're going to continue to do a lot. It's only going to keep going up from here. But what advice maybe would you give to an up and coming wrestler who just started his training and kind of wants to get to where you're at? And we interview a lot of females, maybe especially a female, from a female's perspective, because I think you guys have it obviously a lot harder. And, just to see you killing it again, you're going to continue to. It's very, very inspiring, especially from where you come from. So what advice would you give to an inspiring wrestler right now watching this?
I always say be patient and trust the process. Uh, always be patient. Trust that all the work, all the grind, all the things do pay off. I do firmly believe that. I've experienced it for myself. And to always stay grounded, always appreciate everything, life, like life is a privilege, getting to live your dreams, and if you're able to, it is very much a privilege. So trust the process and time, trust the timing that it takes, because sometimes patience is probably one of the hardest things in this business and in the sport, and timing is different for everybody. So I always tell people like those things, where it's just trust it, trust the process, trust the hard work, and be patient, and trust the timing. Timing is different for everybody. and there's no such thing as almost like that it's not gonna pay off if you start in a mindset to with a negative mindset. You're already set up for failure. Always, look at the bright side even when it's dark outside.
It almost
uh
seems like it's never too late either.
No.
no, it's not. It is not. And that goes for everything in everything in life, just not just pro wrestling. It's never too late. It's never like this. uh Again, with the timing is different for everybody. Some are able to start their journey pro wrestling at 17 years old. Some of the kids in Mexico started at like 8 or 10. And then some people start pro wrestling training in 30s, 40s. I've seen it. So timing is different for everybody. Never dwell on that, and the process and the time that it takes it's different, but hard work will always pay off.
Beautiful.
Love it. Have you had a match in TNA yet?
No.
Okay, because I did. That's where I did see her. A quick story, a little backstory. I saw her working the merch stand. It was busy. I was gonna say hello. I said, "Nah, let me leave her alone because she's working and she's watching the merch. I'm gonna leave her without saying hello." And then I said,
Always say hi to me. I always welcome it. I'm just me.
Well, we got to make
But
that happen. We got to have our first Salvadoreña to wrestle in the Impact Zone on TNA on AMC. Let's go.
let's go. That is the goal. That is the absolutely goal. That's one of the goals. Uh, yeah. That is the goal. Yeah.
All right. We always ask our final questions here because we always ask someone about a fantasy dream match. If I'm gonna book you WrestleMania coming up, both nights. You're gonna work both nights. We're gonna make history. You're 2 nights. You could wrestle night one somebody from the past or somebody that you want, and someone that's currently It doesn't have to be from. It could be from any promotion, anywhere. But you have 2 matches. Con quien yo voy a poner la Leona versus who? Night 1 and night 2.
Oh my goodness. This is always a tough one because I love wrestling and I want to wrestle everyone like everyone. I think from the past I will say China, just because she did it for me, and I believe she was the 9th wonder of the world. I don't care what people say about her. To me, she was very inspiring, and I love her, so I will go with her. Oh, currently that's a tough one because there's so many dream matches that I want to have, like so many. Um, oh my god, can I give 3? Or at least 2?
You could do 3. You can make it a fatal 4-way. You can make it a ladder match. It's your WrestleMania booking. I'm booking it. You just tell me the names, and we're making it happen.
Oh my goodness! So I want to say Charlotte Flair. Yes, I've always been a fan of her. Natalia Hart. Oh my goodness, there's so many. Now I'm like, if you get me talking, we'll go on forever. My goodness. And then maybe for the third one. See, now I gotta pick a third one because I'm making it a fatal 4-way, so that's a tough one. I would say Mickey James.
Nice. Little hardcore country. Not a bad one. Yeah. Not a bad one. You'll see you ladies scrapping it. I've
always been a fan of her too. And yeah.
Yeah, I can see you ladies scrapping it out, and all 4 ladies fatal 4-way. You can make a ladder match if you want out of that. That's cool. I love that answer.
I don't know, there's so many. The list goes on. The list will forever go on.
Chris, you want to give your final questions? I got one.
Just do you have anything that is out that is able to be shared that you have coming up in 2026 that people could look forward to? Or promotion, anything booked, anything lined up for so far this year that you're excited for?
Oh, everything, all of it, everything that I do. Like honestly, it's just everything is exciting to me. Because I'm like, how do I pick between everything that I feel like I got going on, right? I guess right now, I might be going to, if everything goes, God willingly, to Trinidad.
Nice.
Oh, beautiful.
So that's
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
that, yeah, and that hasn't been shared, so you guys are the first to know.
Exclusive.
Exclusive, and then like I said, if hopefully everything goes right and goes well, God willingly, yeah, Trinidad. That's places in just
That's different.
that I
That
never
seems
thought
cool.
about. Like it's yeah. So like I said, God willingly, I'll be in Trinidad, and I hope in May.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. Me gusta preguntar, when your career is over and done, ¿qué legado quiere dejar en la lucha libre? When we look back at Alejandra, La Leona, ¿qué legado, what legacy you want to leave the business or in general?
The legacy that I would like to live is, it is very much possible to live your dreams. It's very much, you make those dreams, you make them happen, and they will happen if you work towards them. I was a little girl with a dream that at one point didn't think was possible, and I'm living proof that it is. I think that's the legacy, to never be afraid, and to just, like I said, I came from a small country, but whenever you dream big, everything and anything is possible, and you just have to have the guts to chase after these dreams, and never doubt yourself that they can be done. We are stronger than what we think we are. That's just kind of my thing. Oh,
I
and
love it.
and the music stopped right as I finished the sentence. That's amazing.
Well, es un complacer. I'm going to run the outro, no te me vayas, so we can say our corporate goodbye. This was our interview with Leona. Of course, she's breaking down the doors, the barriers, kicking the doors, making history every stop along, and you can hear her roar all across Estados Unidos, Centro y Sudamérica, y para el mundo entero. Of course, we want to thank
para
her.
el mundo, la Leona para el mundo. That's right.
Y muchísimas gracias, muchacha, que Dios te bendiga, y gracias por compartir este tiempo con nosotros. Y we'll see you next time here. We are Latinos with Wrestling Voices. Like, share, subscribe. All of Leona's information will be on the video description. Please follow her on X. Follow her on social medias. Retweet. Check her out. If she's anywhere, make it happen. Let's get her viral. Let's have her going. Let's show her the love, the amor, el calor latino, and from around the world. So thank you so much. We'll see you next time, mi gente. Peace out.
Represento la